I am under your feet, but also touch the sky. When I move, buildings fall. The Book of Elements. Hello, I'm Sensei the Dark Master, and in today's video we shall be continuing our coverage of the elemental powers of Ninjago. This time we will be covering the elemental power of Earth. We shall be covering its history, those people, creatures, and objects who have wielded the power it bestows upon the person that uses it, its weaknesses, and more. Now, let us start with that history. The history of Earth begins a lot like that of the other elemental powers, with the first Spinjitzu master, who taught the power of Earth to the first elemental master of Earth. They then passed that power to their child, who in turn did this to their child for over 100 generations. Eventually, Cole's grandfather would inherit the power of Earth. He would participate in the First Serpentine War. However, Chen manipulated him during a crucial battle, and thanks to Hypnobrai Venom, he caused an Anacondrae victory. Luckily, this animosity didn't last long, as he would later join the Elemental Masters to finish the fight against the Anacondrae, and later fight against the true traitors, the Time Twins. At some point, he would have his daughter, Lily, the mother of Cole. She would train under Master Wu and reach her true potential. She went on to do many great things, such as beating a group of Venomorai who intended to attack Jamankai village, and she headed into the heart of the Shintaro mountain to destroy Griefbringer, a dragon that was bothering the Mucks and Geckos. She even taught Master Wu about her revelation that her powers were strongest when she was closer to the earth. She would eventually marry a stage man named Louis and have a son named Cole. Sadly, she would eventually die due to an unknown sickness, but not before departing her wisdom upon Cole. He would eventually unlock his Earth powers and become the current elemental master of Earth. He would unlock his true potential after overcoming the division between him and his father, caused by his mom's death. He, alongside the other ninja, would protect Ninjago and the weak against many foes, such as when he fought the reawakened in Shintaro Mountain, or when he fought against Master Yang during the Day of the Departed. But now that we've discussed its history of Earth, let us discuss who has wielded this earthly power. The first person to wield the elemental power of Earth was, of course, the first Spinjitzu master, who passed the knowledge on to the first elemental master of Earth. Then, after over 100 generations, there was Cole's grandfather, who then passed it on to his mother, Lily, who then passed it, of course, to Cole himself. There is also Sensei Wu, who could use Earth via the power of creation. Lloyd Garmadon could also tap into the power of Earth via the Golden Power. In addition to all these people, there were various creatures, mostly dragons, that wielded this rock-solid power. First, there was Rocky, one of the original dragons who had a distinctive body plan with short wings and prominent legs. Rocky would aid the ninja against the Skulkin and eventually shed his skin and molt into the Ultra Dragon. This four-headed dragon had the powers of all 4 dragons, including Earth. Then there was the bulky gray dragon from the first realm, named Slab, that Cole eventually freed from the dragon hunters. Then there was the mother of all dragons, the firstborn, who had the power of Earth. There was also the elemental dragon of Earth, which was an elemental construct that Cole could summon once he overcame his fear. Ronin's elemental golem could also use the power of Earth in one of its forms. In addition to these creatures, there were several objects that had the elemental power of Earth. First and most well known there was the golden Scythe of Quakes, which was a golden weapon of creation that was eventually melted into the Overlord's golden armor alongside the other golden weapons and the mega weapon, which would ironically enough eventually be melted down and reforged back into another Scythe of Quakes, before eventually losing its elemental powers after the defeat of the Oni. Then there was the Elemental Forge of Earth, which was a white cube artifact that could tap into the power of Earth. Then there was the Earth Elemental Blade, which had a green blade. Finally, there is the Staff of Elements that temporarily held the power of Earth when it stole it from Cole. Then there were various mechs and vehicles that could tap into the elemental power of Earth, which we shall cover now. Firstly, the Scythe of Quakes had the ability to transform into the Tread Assault, a large roadster that was big and black with golden spikes that had the ability to camouflage as a serpentine vehicle. Then there was the Stone Mech, which was a former Nindroid security mech that Cole hacked into using his green Techno Blade. Then there was the Earth Driller, which was this huge race car-like vehicle that has its most prominent feature in a large golden-colored drill on the front. It was rebuilt prior to the Oni invasion. Then, most recently, there was a different stone mech created long ago out of pure stone and was stored in the heart of Shintaro Mountain, waiting for an elemental master of Earth to control it. Now, what about the powers that the ability grants a user? First and foremost, it grants the user geokinesis, or as it is also called, terrakinesis, which allows a user to manipulate and generate rocks, dust, and earth. They can also control massive amounts of earth, for example, a mountain. The user can change and manipulate any types of terrain, like a valley or hill, and the dust can blind an opponent. It has several sub-powers. Psalmokinesis allows the user to create, shape, and manipulate sand and dirt, commonly used to trap opponents. Petrification allows a user to immobilize enemies by covering them in a thin layer of earth. This was most obviously used when Lloyd petrified a stone army warrior. With rock manipulation, the user can make rocks erupt out of the ground. For those very powerful, they can use technokinesis, which allows a user to control tectonic plates and generate fractures and chasms. It has 2 powers. With earthquake generation, obviously the user can create earthquakes and fissures, and the master can, with shockwave generation, create huge shockwaves. With superhuman strength, users have the ability to possess superhuman strength. With superhuman durability, the user has superhuman levels of durability. With elemental shield generation, a user can create an earth elemental shield. Interestingly, it is pitch black and gray, with no hint of any of the other earth colorations. With geothermokinesis, the user can manipulate magma or lava. With earth wall, the user can create a wall completely out of rock to block or stop an incoming attack. When the user unlocks their true potential, they unlock two additional powers. First, there is Earth Mimicry, with which the user completely transforms their body into the Earth. And with Enhanced Super Strength, the user's super strength is only further enhanced, becoming even more powerful. For Earth, there are several higher level powers. With Earth Punch, the user can transform their fists into molten rock and can punch through literally anything except vengestone and corrupted ice. This is exclusive, as far as we know, to the element of Earth. The other and last ability Earth can grant a user is Spinjitzu Blast. With Spinjitzu Blast, a user can release a huge surge of energy when they are surrounded by their element. While it is believed that technically all elemental powers could potentially use this with special mention to fire, energy, and water, but it is only known from Earth elemental masters, as the teachings were forgotten by the other elemental lineages due to their ancient origins. Interestingly, while it is called Earth, the planet that Ninjago takes place on is believed to not actually be Earth. In terms of colors, Earth has one of the most interesting mixes of all the elements. Obviously, there's the expected browns and blacks, but also sand green and translucent orange. The symbol of Earth is what looks like the face of a gorilla carved out of crumbling stone. This represents Cole's stubbornness and refusal to give up and fighting the good fight. Now, let us briefly cover the movie version of Earth. And again, as I've said countless times before in this series, it's a weaker, less explored version of the main series version. Firstly, only two people can use this ability, Cole and Sensei Wu. In terms of abilities, the movie incarnation of Earth, they had geokinesis, earthquake generation, and shockwave generation, as well as superhuman strength. Interestingly, in the movie, so little does Earth actually use Earth that some have said it more closely resembles sound, which does go along with Cole's DJ fascination in that movie. Overall, it's much weaker. In conclusion, what can we learn from the elemental power of Earth? We learn that the good must remain firm against those that are most cruel. We must defend the weak against those who would abuse their power. We must stay solid like the earth. I'm Sensei the Dark Master, and join me next time on Ninjago Lore, and have a wonderful day.